All right, and good evening. We are live tonight on a special Dash of Life. We're going to be giving a shout out to all the teachers out there. Before we get to that, just want to thank everybody that watched last night for the 80s show. It was a great show with Christopher. Want to thank everybody that came out and watched and participated in that. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll have more in the future. But tonight is all about teacher appreciation, showing my love. You know, my mom was a teacher for 30 years, and I want to give my love and shout out to all the teachers out there for a hard year. We were behind you all the way, each and every one of you. So my wife was a teacher. I know. But I want to give an appreciation to every one of you that worked hard, did what you had to do, and faced a tough year. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you to all the teachers out there. I'm going to be bringing on a special guest tonight, someone I've known for almost my entire life, probably since I was knee high to a grasshopper. So I'm going to be bringing on Brandy, and as soon as I can get that up and running, and we're going to get it going. So I sent you we should be good to go here in just a minute. As long as I don't have any technical difficulties like I did the last week, we should be okay. There we go. And there we are. And I think we got a little, how are you?
Here we go.
You got some slow reaction there on the Wi-Fi?
Probably on my end, yes.
How are you doing?
I'm actually very nervous right now, if you believe it or not.
Nothing to be nervous about. We've known each other for years. It's just like we're talking back and forth to each other.
I know, but it's different. I can get up in front of kids all day long. I can get up in front of other teachers all day long, but to know this is being recorded is very scary.
You've done. I mean, you were a palm, and you got up in front of live audiences before, so this is nothing new. So, well, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. I was like, I got a teacher appreciation show coming up, so I was like, who can I get? I mean, I know a lot of teachers, but your mom was always one of my favorite teachers, so I was like, I'll get Brandy because we could talk because we've known each other for a long time. So this is going to be an easy.
Yes.
It's going to be an easy one. So, like I said, my mom was a teacher, and my wife's a teacher, and I just know how rough and tough you guys can have it at times. So, like I said, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for doing what you do. You're very much appreciated in my family. Can you give me an idea of how hard it was and some of the things that you faced this year as a teacher?
Okay, so I think the hardest thing that we had to do was just the mask wearing. My district required a mask on every student, pre-K through 12th, and for every employee that was in the building. So just having to wear that every single day, trying to keep kids social distanced. I teach second grade this year, so they're 7 and 8, and trying to keep 7 and 8-year-olds away from each other when you're also trying to teach them social interactions, trying to be kind to each other. So just for example, somebody's school box would drop off their desk, and all the crayons would go all over the floor. Well, their initial reaction is to jump up and help the other kid pick up their stuff, and we were told from the beginning, no, don't let them do that. They can't touch each other's things. And so that was hard. And then just because you've got those kids that are shy, that don't talk very loud anyways, then you stick a mask on them, then you stick them, in a classroom, and you've got to keep them 6 feet away from you and just trying to listen to them. That was hard. I'll be honest, when they needed a hug, they got a hug. I wasn't gonna keep them away from me that way. I had a couple of kids that I'd had in the past that would come by every day for a hug, every single day. I mean, so that was good. But I I just think the mask wearing was hard. But it got to the point where it was just we were just so used to it. I had a couple of kids in my class that I secretly referred to as my mask police. And we got to take them off to go outside to recess and stuff like that. And as soon as we would walk back in the classroom, my mask police would be like, put your mask back on, put your mask back on. And so, but I don't know. I think that was probably, and not having parents involved as much as we have in the past because they weren't allowed
Yeah.
in the building. Um, all of our conferences were through Zooms or through Google Meets. And so never actually meeting your parents face to face in person,
Yeah.
that was hard. It was hard to get to make those family connections without seeing them
Yeah,
in person.
that's
So,
a staple of just getting, I mean, just being with the kids, that's a staple of knowing who your kids are, is just being with the parents. I mean, my wife and I, face the same thing, and with our son as well. So it was, a definite challenge. I think my wife said the same thing. But she was dealing more with the 2 and 3 and 4 year olds. So at times, some of the masks they didn't have to wear at times, but yeah, it was the mask for them. Did you have any, like, I know for our son, uh, doing the virtual learning was a little bit harder for, because he thrives. Don't get me wrong, he likes the virtual learning, but he thrives in that school setting, in that he's got to have that social setting, and that's
yeah.
where he really thrives at. Was that
Mm-hmm.
difficult for you, or did you have a lot of the virtual?
So we did, when we started, we were what they called AB. So our kids would come 2 days a week in person, and then they had 3 days a week
Mm-hmm.
at home
Mm-hmm.
virtual. So I wasn't ever teaching, recording myself teaching and casting it out there. Um, my kids that were virtual, I sent work home with them, or there was work online for them to do. But so that was difficult. And then we moved to where we came to school 4 days a week. And so we had 1 day virtual. So everybody was virtual 1 day a week. And it was still difficult because you have parents who
Mm-hmm.
are still working. And so the kids are going to grandma's, or, going to a daycare or whatever. So then they don't get home until 7, 8 o'clock at night. Then they're trying to do work on the computer. They're trying to get stuff turned in. I mean, I had a bunch of families that would do their virtual work, and it would be 9:30, 10 o'clock at night for their seven
Oh
and eight
wow,
year
yeah,
old. And
yeah,
so, and that was hard. Just because you're still trying to have life. I mean, you're still trying to be as normal as possible and do sports and church and everything
yeah.
else. So,
Well, yeah, I
but
mean,
yeah,
that was the same for our son. It was like, I mean, I was always, I'm a stay-at-home dad now for the most part, where I stay home with the girls and take care of them, and do homeschooling with them. But for him, I was always like, all right, did you get your assignment done? Because he was kind of like with you guys. So Wednesday, when he was off, I was making sure that everything was getting done on that Wednesday. And then, but
mhm.
yeah, I mean, I just, I don't know how we would have survived. You know what? I don't know how
Yeah,
our class would have survived doing that. I mean, not that I was like the perfect student or anything like that, but just being virtual, I just don't know what I would have done, because I'm like him. I got to be social. I got to be talking to people. I got to be having
hmm
the friends around. So I shout out to the students that did it. I know it was tough on them, and like I told my son, you're doing a great job. Just, you got to do what you can, but it was tough on him. And I always worried about, did you get this done? And then we get the email, this is missing, and he, so, but
yeah,
I'm just glad, he did good. He's all moving on to the 6th grade now, so he's got that to look forward to, and hoping a better future for school and for classes and things like that as we progress through this. So I got to ask, we got through the tough year and everything. Uh, Graduation for you. I saw we graduated the last one is the last one.
Yes, my son graduated high school. So my daughter graduated from Rose with her associates. My son graduated from Carl Albert. So yeah, just thankful that they actually got to
Yeah.
have graduation. And we were lucky in the fact that her graduation was outside, so you could bring as many people as you wanted. His graduation was downtown at the fairgrounds. You got to bring as many people as you
Awesome.
wanted. So yeah, we got to celebrate that, and so
Whew.
whew, got that one done.
I got. That's what I was
So
kidding the other day. I'm gonna be an old man when my girls go to graduation. I'm gonna be
yeah,
60 for Ellie. I'm gonna be 61, and for Rennie, I'll be 62. So they'll be like, "That's not my grandpa. I promise. That is my dad." So, um, so what are they moving on to now? As far as you said, she's moving on with an associate. Does she plan on going somewhere else? And
yes, she is headed to Oklahoma State in the fall. So she's actually, it's this is good. She's going to end up going to Oklahoma State in the fall for 2 years, and then she'll end up going to OU to
nice.
finish up to get her other degree. So she wants to be a pediatric
Very
occupational
nice.
therapist. So, but she has to get what's called a recreational therapy degree first. So she's going to OSU to do that. And then she'll move back and do her occupational therapy degree at
Well, good luck to
OU.
that one. Yeah, nice.
So, yeah,
And
yeah, I'm
what's our
just,
young one's?
um, Cole, he wants to own his own
Nothing wrong with that.
business. He wants to get a business degree like his dad. So he's going to do that. So we've got him enrolled at Rose right now for the fall. The great thing is that my kids go to Mid-Dell schools, and Mid-Dell and Rose partner and do what's called
Yeah.
the Ticket to Rose, and they do that with some of the local schools. So as long as they maintain a certain GPA and take so many hours and actually get their associates within a certain amount of time, you don't have to pay their tuition for them to go
Awesome.
to Rose. So that's what we're doing with him. And he's a little bit harder than she is. She's my very self-motivated, self-driven student. So when we went virtual, she
Yeah.
still maintained her high grades and everything. He, on the other hand, was like, Mom, I'm not in school. I'm not doing
Yeah.
school today. And so
Yeah.
his was a
Could
fight.
imagine.
But yeah, but we made it. And yeah, so they're both going to be back in school in
Oh,
the
oh,
fall.
that's great.
So
So did you always know you were going to follow in mom's footsteps?
okay, so funny story. I don't know if did you have Miss Russell for second grade?
No, no, I
I
didn't.
don't I don't think you were in my second grade class. Okay, so Miss Russell was my second grade teacher at Nakoma Park Elementary, and I loved her. And it was so funny though, because what really drew me to teaching and being a teacher was she wore her wedding ring on one hand and she had another ring on the other hand, and she would stand up at the board and she would roll the chalk back and forth between her hands, and it would make this click, 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 click sound against her rings. And I thought that was the coolest thing in the world when I was in
Yeah.
second grade, and that's what I wanted to do. So, from second grade on, I think that's when I knew I wanted to be a teacher.
I thought
So,
I would follow in mom's footsteps, but the military had a different calling for me at that time, and that's what I did. But I mean, I feel like with my having my degree in applied science with kinesiology, that I can be a teacher to people as well. So I feel like I followed a
mhm.
little bit in mom's footsteps. Mom was a second grade teacher as well for bazillion years. I don't know if she ever, when we were in junior high, I know she subbed for us a couple times. I don't know if you ever got to be when my mom subbed, but it was
I
kind of
don't
weird
know.
to be. I remember Brian Goodman walking up to me. He's like, "Dude, your mom is our sub," and I'm like, "Oh." But but no, I'm
Oh,
so glad. I'm glad that you know found your calling. If that you knew what it was from the beginning. So You know, what is the best thing about being a teacher for you? I mean, we all know the students and everything, but what is it for you?
Um, I mean, honestly, it is. It's the students, it's the kids, and so I've just finished my 24th year. Even though I'm only
Yes, I
25
know.
years old, so put that out there. Um, so I just finished my 24th year. My first year that I taught, my kids were, I had first grade, the very first year I taught. So they're, 6 and 7 years old. So 6 and 7, you add 24 years, they're early 30s right now. So they're having babies. Their babies are coming to school. Um, so that's the fun thing for me is I'm friends with a lot of them on Facebook. So I get to see the pictures of their babies growing up. And just out and about, you run into people and they'll be like, "Hey, didn't you teach at Barnes?" And I'd be like, "Yes." And so, I mean, that's the fun thing. Just seeing the kids. And then um, you mentioned your mom being the substitute. I actually had both of my children in fifth grade
Oh
when I
wow.
taught fifth grade. So yeah, so I was actually their real teacher all
Uh,
year long. Um,
but they didn't like that too
so
much,
that
did they?
was it was okay. So it was different. So I taught fifth grade for
Yeah.
18 years, and when we taught fifth grade, we were departmentalized. So the kids would
Yeah.
rotate classes. And so they weren't in my homeroom class, but they had to come to me for math. And so when my daughter would come to my class, if she had a question, well, usually she never had questions, but if she did have a question, she never called me Miss McNeely or anything. She wouldn't call me mom. She would just raise her hand and just, yeah, whatever. My son, on the other hand,
Mom.
he just raised his hand, "Mom," and or whatever, or he'd call me Miss
Yeah,
McNeely or whatever. I think he enjoyed being in my class more
I can
than
imagine.
she did. Um, but yeah, it was just
Yeah.
it was different. It was different. It was fun. I enjoyed it, but I don't know if they enjoyed it
Yeah,
as much.
that's great.
So
So, uh, second grade's where it's, or is that where you're going to be for a while? Is that where you're going to finish up and retire, or?
I'm hoping so. My principal, I'm actually getting a new principal for this
No?
coming school year. Our principal is being moved to a bigger school, and so we're getting a new principal. But I'm hoping that I get to stay in
Yeah.
second grade. It's a fun grade. Um, they love you. You can get onto them one
Still
minute,
love
and
you.
they still
Yeah.
love you the next minute. So, so I really do. I really do like
Any
second grade.
aspirations to go towards principal, or be a principal, vice principal, anything with the school board or anything?
I people ask me that all the time, why don't you go get your administrative degree? I see what principals have to do, and there is no way I want to do that. I have thought about doing my instructional coach
Yeah.
degree, and just kind of help with curriculum and instruction and stuff like that. But right now, I I enjoy being in the classroom with the
Yeah.
kids, and so I'm happy just where I
That's
am.
awesome.
So
Well, I am, like I said, it's great to see you and see what you've done with your students. And as far as a hard year as it was, I'm glad that you worked through it. And here's to a better year coming up for the 2021-22
yes.
season. But I am so glad you got to come on. I want to bring you on some other times. You did wonderful. Um, but thank you so much for coming on. I love you so much, and I'm glad I got to see you again. That's why I posted the pictures the other day of some of the memories I had with you guys back in school. So much love to you. Much love to your mom.
Okay.
Tell her I miss her, and tell her I actually
Well,
really did read the Canterbury Tales. So you can tell her that. It only took me 30 years, but I finally read Canterbury Tales. But
okay. Well, I have to tell you, she is on Facebook too, and she saw that we were doing this, and she has told everybody that we've been friends for. And her thing is that it was like that when Brandy was growing up, she never just called him Gordon. It was always Gordon Hooper. Gordon Hooper. She always said the whole name. So she's been telling everybody about this tonight. So
well, I hope she watched. And if you're watching, I love you. You're one of the best teachers I ever had, and I still love you. So, but Thank you so much. We'll get another show. I love talking to you. So appreciate you coming out. Um, and take care of yourself, okay? And I'll see you around.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Bye. All right, ladies
All
and
right,
gentlemen, that
bye.
was Brandy for Teachers Appreciation Night. Like I said, I cannot express the feelings I have for the teachers out there. You guys are wonderful. I support every one of you 100%. I've known a lot of wonderful teachers. Miss D, I love you. I don't know if you're watching, but I love you. Merck, love you as well. To all the wonderful teachers out there now, my wife, you did a great job. I know it was hard, but you did a great job throughout the year, and I wish you luck in the upcoming. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy your summer vacation. It is well deserved. Like I said, take care of yourselves out there. Um, just watch out for each other. I couldn't do the show without you. So, like I say every week, take care of one another, love one another, and I'll see you next show.